Alright guys, it is another Unicorn Mermaid hair transformation. Remember, I'm a professional stylist working in a salon. So this is one of actually my co-workers, clients, and friends, Rebecca, and she's been wanting to do a awesome bright color, so she kindly allowed me to transform her. And we had to start with a platinum card to still lighten up her hair, and I will be having that tutorial coming soon. And then we went and we did this really vibrant color afterwards. So we did step one, and I'm going to show you step two. Into this really awesome kind of black cherry grape. I told her she's kind of like a sea witch. That's kind of what this vibe is with her hair color, and it is so much fun. So I'm going to share with you guys how I did it. So Pravana kindly sent me all of their XL Vivids, and I was so excited to get this in the mail. So I'm using a few of those along with the black additive. So this was kind of my inspiration. This one is a little bit lighter, and then this one was a little bit darker. So those are my two inspirations. So for the color, I am using their Orchid shade, and then I'm mixing in a little bit of black additive to do a darker color on the root area. And I want it to be kind of like a little bit smoked, a little bit darker on like the root to mid-lengths, and then I want her ends to be brighter. So I'm going to add that orchid into another bowl. And I'm actually going to go in and add silver too. So my entire concoction for every single color that I use has magenta, silver, and then some black additive. And then on the lighter, more brighter parts that I'm doing just a little bit of clear in there to kind of dilute the formula some, so that it kind of just makes it a little bit brighter. And I just keep mixing until I get the shades exactly where I want them. So all of my formulas are listed down below in the description box for you guys. So if you're ever wondering, I have most of that stuff down here. Now these are definitely kind of eyeballed because everything kind of has like my own little twist on stuff. So I have three formulas. I have a dark, I have a really awesome smoky magenta, and then I have a really light color that I'm going to just kind of add through. So I'm starting in the nape area on the bottom, and I'm placing a foil underneath just to protect her neck and also from getting the color everywhere on the towel. This just kind of makes sure that at the end we're not going in and having to rub all of her skin off. So I'm going in with my first, the dark formulation. I'm applying that one in there and just really allowing the underneath to kind of be a little bit darker because it gives you a little bit more contrast. And a lot of times like for clients like Rebecca, she has really long hair, so if you go in and start doing all kinds of crazy stuff underneath, you're not really going to be seeing that unless they put their hair up. So I'm just going to be doing quite a bit of dark underneath here, and then you guys can see I am like adding that brighter formulation number 2 to her ends. So I'm just going to keep moving up the back of her head, and I'm doing the same thing. So I'm just kind of placing an artistic placement where I want the darker color to be and the lighter color to be, and moving it up and down the hair shaft to where it just kind of gives you this like really great melted look in the end. So I started off kind of applying it on the foil, and then now that I've got my little amount established and I don't have to worry about it touching her neck, I'm just going to be doing like freehand painting. So just using my hands to really do this and a paintbrush because it cuts down on time. You can use a few foils to separate if you want. Like I use just a few in there just to kind of separate multiple layers. But what's great about this is that you can just kind of start to get this on, and because I'm working with really one tonal family in this, you don't have to worry about your other colors laying on top of each other because they're not going to be like, a blue laying next to a red. So I just like to use the back of my hand as another little kind of balayage board to put that lighter color on, so I'm not mixing the darker in my actual gloves. And I wipe off my gloves like a million times, guys. My white towels are crazy colored. So in the front, I always like to take diagonal back sections when I'm doing this type of work just because it just falls really beautifully. And I'm applying that Formula 1 and then I'm applying Formula 2 to the ends. And then every once in a while I'm adding in Formula 3, the really light piece, on some of the pieces that we got blonded, because Rebecca definitely has, she's been coming from black hair dye, which they've been taking out and making her lighter and lighter and lighter. But she's not a level 9, 10, 11 blonde. So she definitely has some warmer tones in there, which is perfect because using these colors is going to really help give her a really fun, still vibrant hair color, and allowing her to experiment with these colors without having to be, you know, a level 9, 10, which her hair could definitely not stand. So in these front pieces, I'm also, instead of just adding the black, the darker color to the top, like the black cherry color in Formula 1, I'm just popping some brighter ones around her face where they have gotten it really light of the Formula 2 and Formula 3. So again, just working up the head. I mean, you guys can see that underneath color is still kind of yellowy orangey, but we can do this really fun color over it. So there's still an option for clients that can't get the majority of their hair to a very, 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 very light color. So you guys can see this is formula number 3, a little bit lighter and brighter. And it's just so much fun to kind of mix multiple colors to create such a fun melted look. So I'm just going to continue to move up the hair and put these in strategic placement. This is a really good time when you guys are doing this to talk to your clients about the new ways that they need to wash their hair in cold water and how they need to use a good sulfate-free shampoo, all of that stuff. If you have colored hair, there are definitely ways to take care of it. So I went and rinsed that out. We did Olaplex step number 2, and then we shampooed, conditioned, and now we're going to blow dry. So I'm using Evo's End Doctor on her ends, and then I'm cocktailing in some of the Moroccan smoothing lotion just to give her a really beautiful finish because her hair tends to tangle a lot. So in the front, I'm going to start blow drying her bangs, and I like to go back and forth because when you do this, it really helps to neutralize those bang areas for clients that have really bad cowlicks or just want it to lay nice and smooth in the front. So after that, I'm just going to kind of go through and rough dry the rest of Rebecca's hair, and then she doesn't really like her hair to look perfect. We like to say, we were joking that her hair is kind of like homeless chic. She likes, you know, the Olsen twins for inspiration. So we just kind of went and rough dried the rest of it, and then I took a round brush through just the ends, and girlfriend needed a haircut. I mean, look at this. She needed a haircut. If your clients are walking around with hair like this, it is no bueno on your gorgeous piece of work. So we went and trimmed about an inch, inch and a half off of her ends and gave her a really great, just new, fresh haircut. You guys can see this right here. It's like night and day difference. One side was way longer than the other, and it was definitely time. So then what I did is I went and used some of my Builder's Paradise hairspray by Evo to help give her a great hold for putting in some curls. I'm using my go-to Paul Mitchell Style Winder curling iron, and I'm doing curls that are going both directions and just kind of very softly putting in some curl because, again, Rebecca likes her hair to be homeless chic, so we don't want it to be, you know, princess curls. So this curling iron you guys have seen in so many of my videos now because it is my number 1 for being in the salon and working on clients. And this is our finished product. It is so beautiful. You guys can see all the different dimension, the brighter pieces, the darker pieces, and how it melts from that kind of black cherry into these bright ends. And it is so much fun. I love it. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning into this tutorial. Check out some of my others and come follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. See you guys in my next video. Bye.